Is officially here. Warm temperatures and an afternoon thunderstorm. Clouds have moved out and the sun has peeked through for a big ACC Atlantic region clash. Ty Collins live from our ACC Network studios with my partner Kyle Vaughn. 3 points for one of these teams tonight would really put them in the driver's seat in the division.
Yeah, Ty, Louisville and Wake Forest both positioned to take control of the Atlantic Division with a win tonight at Spry. Both these teams still have Clemson left on the schedule, who won earlier today over BC. So the winner here still controls its own destiny, while a draw leaves both teams in a really bad spot. That means a great game is in store for us tonight. Ty, no team has benefited from the fall to spring reset more than Louisville, who had a real tough go of things in 2020, but a pair of wins over Notre Dame and Syracuse to start the spring has jump-started them a bit. Not a lot of turnover from fall to spring for the Cards either, other than a pair of losses to the pro ranks. Head coach John Michael Hayden told us that the lengthened season has allowed freshmen like the strike partnership of Nico Diaz and Abubakar Kamara to grow within their roles in the squad. Consistency, a big part of their success.
Well, the Deacs have, as Coach Muse said, been up against it. That's how many they've had to dealt with, how many players have had to replace from the fall roster. The next man up motto really has been the theme for spring. But Wake Forest has fought tooth and nail to prove to the nation that they are still a very dangerous side. It's the last regular season home game here at Spry Stadium. Deacon. We're back here in Winston-Salem. This is the lineup for Louisville. You see number 17, Amo. He was selected in the MLS Super Draft by Real Salt Lake, but good news for Coach Hayden. He gets to play in the springtime. So Wake Forest, they lost a lot of players to the draft. They have gone to training and decided to stay in training. But good news for the Cardinals, they have Amo on the pitch. For Wake Forest, the 4-3-3. That's what they like to go with Sears. Another start for him on the right. Forbes on the left. Holcomb up top. You always see Kyle Holcomb, and what a game winner against Notre Dame at South Bend. They had to come back, and Kyle Holcomb made everybody quiet down in South Bend, didn't he?
Yeah, the resilience of this Wake Forest team this spring has been remarkable. As you said, just no consistency whatsoever with this lineup. Tons of guys have left, a few more injured, so there's just been a ton of turnover. But how about the consistency of Kyle Holcomb in front of net, doing it again, and a big one to keep them right there with Clemson atop the division.
Wake Forest in their gold jerseys. They have a pretty nice records when they are wearing the gold jerseys. Saturdays they have 27-3-4. Today, Saturday, March 27th, the last Saturday of March, as Wake Forest and Louisville both kneel down for solidarity and injustices around the United States, something that they have done from the fall and into the spring. And we're off and running here at Spry Stadium.
Ty, the big question, you mentioned it's the last Saturday in March. Who wants to exit March like a lion, right?
Right.
Atop that Atlantic Division.
I like where you're going with that, right? And they do say it does leave like a sheep, like a lamb, right? But that thunderstorm we had this afternoon, that woke up everybody.
Physical first 30 seconds of this game. Goodness, Louisville goes right at Cole McNally with the ball at his feet and net for Wake Forest, and then these guys battling shoulder to shoulder through the defensive half of the field for the Deacs. Look at this press early from Louisville. They are coming right at Wake Forest.
Yeah, we will see that a lot. Louisville does put on that press. That's what Coach Muse said he expected coming into this game. A nice one-touch over to Kyle Holcomb, and Holcomb is offside. The flag is up. The referees today are David Erbacher, assistant referee, my friend Rick Rogers, and Benjamin Wooten. Let's see if he is offside.
Oh, man, it's close. You know what? On second look, at first I thought it was questionable. On second look, I think they may have made the right call here. That is a massive call here from the referees early, because Kyle Holcomb, as you saw, was clean through on net here, less than a minute gone by. Look out. Wake Forest has just got a red shirt right on top of every ball carrier.
And that game winner against Notre Dame, Kyle, it was 7 touches for when that goalkeeper decided to give it a ride. Okay? This is how long it is. 7 touches, 10 seconds, 4 different players. And then Kyle Holcomb scored the game winner. That's insane.
Yeah, that's great team football right there, Ty. It speaks to, you mentioned earlier in the open, Bobby Muse has next man up, right? A lot of times when you have that next man up mentality, it makes it tough to gel. Clearly not for this Wake team.
Bastien does not quite reach Fonseca. It's cut out by Swallen, and then a miscommunication there as Hernandez watches that go out of bounds. So a throw in for Louisville down in the attacking third. Some fans now allow here at Spry Stadium because of the new governor orders and the COVID cases going down, thankfully. Hopefully by fall next year, it'll be packed like we usually see it, Kyle, and hopefully we'll be back in our little perch at Spry Stadium as opposed to 2 miles away in our studio, our dark studio.
This press has just been absolutely swarming early for the Cardinals. Wake knew it was coming, and it's good. I don't want to call it practice because this is a very good Louisville team that could easily come away here with a win. But if Wake can get out of here in its last home game with all 3 points, this is an excellent setup for a matchup with Clemson coming up next, because they run an equally suffocating press.
Oh, yeah. I remember talking to Michael DeShields about Clemson's press. He said the freshmen were not quite, I would say, aware of how Clemson presses, and they saw that right up front against Clemson, down in Clemson, and it definitely surprised them, to say the least.
Well, you see what can happen, too, when it doesn't work, because we saw it under a minute. Wake nearly had a breakaway clean on net. That's what happens when you break the press. That is exactly what Wake is looking for on transition, as they call it.
Another good cutout by Louisville. And directing this way is Portman. Puts it down to the flank to Kamara. Now, the last time Louisville came to Winston-Salem, they came back-to-back. Of course, John Michael Hayden was the assistant coach then. But Wake Forest beat him in the regular season, and then a week later in the semifinals of the ACC championships. Louisville comes back here. And actually, I was on the call with Rick Rogers, who's now officiating today. Louisville just breaks the hearts of Wake Forest. They were expecting to go to the championship, and it was all because of Amo, who put a game winner. Chipped it right over the goalkeeper. There's a series here, the series history, the 14th meeting. There's Wake's leads 10-3-0. Fall meeting, that was a win of 3-1. And when I spoke to Coach Hayden, he said Chol just really exposed him on that flank, right, Kyle? I mean, that's a quality player, and that's why he's off to the MLS.
Well, Machop Chol has exposed a lot of people in his Wake career. Wake can't get out of its own half, though. No. This is a very good passing team, and they just have no space whatsoever. Obviously, the ball carrier has been swarmed with this press, but also every passing lane is clogged as well.
Yeah, exactly. Wake Forest having to do those one touches there every time the ball is at the feet of a Wake Forest player. Red jerseys are surrounding them. Hey, Kyle, I have to ask you, we spoke to Coach Hayden about their keys to the game. As see Louisville now attacking here by Diaz, taken away by Hernandez. But, with his keys to the game, what was one of the things that he said? It was about trying to just not allow Wake Forest to dictate their type of game in the game, right?
Yeah, no question about it, especially when you play such a high tempo like this. You don't want the other team to slow things down and make it a half-court game. Here they go, try to break that press with a ball over the top. That's going to get Kyle Holcomb some looks in front of net. But, if Wake slows this game down and makes it a half-court game, Louisville is not going to survive. They want to keep the tempo high and tire out this thin Wake Forest squad.
Fonseca over to Diaz. This is Bastien, sophomore. They'll pull it all the way back to their goalkeeper, Deetra Bell, who is on the senior team for Bermuda. Came over from Cal State Bakersfield. Check this out, Kyle. Guy had 190 career saves at Cal State Bakersfield. That is Bakersfield. That is a lot of saves. I thought that was a misprint at first.
Yeah, and 11 shutouts too. It's, I mean, that's not a number that the Cal State Bakersfield defense will want to know.
Well, Coach Hayden was glad to get him over to Louisville. There he is, the goalkeeper. He has had about 10 saves so far this spring. A save percentage about 70%. One shutout. 2 combined shutouts. So good get for them. They did have a fantastic goalkeeper by the name of Gelnovich, the son of the UVA coach, but now he is off to the pro ranks. So Louisville now will take their corner, and taking their time. Watch the foot of this kid, Abdi Kadir. This one's sent deep, headed back, and Benalcazar trying to clear it. Hernandez trying to clear it. And Wake Forest back on their heels as the Cardinals move up to the midway line as Abu Kadir moving into the attacking third. Abdi Kadir, first touch on the ball in 2018. It was a free kick from about 30 yards out, and he blasted one in the upper 90 in the first half. Absolutely had everybody's mouths open like, how did he hit that? And that kind of slapped Wake Forest in the face, got him into reality. They were fighting back, and then Louisville broke their hearts with that game winner. Bobby Muse, his 6th season. Look at this, 99 wins here at Wake Forest. If he gets a win tonight, it'll be 100. If he was listening to me, he would be very mad that I said that. He doesn't want to get jinxed. But Coach Muse is one of the hardest jobs coaching, or one of the seasons of his coaching this year is now, in a goal by Amo, as he got right inside the 18, and just too many touches and too dangerous. And Louisville now leads 1-0.
Wake Forest will not want to see this tape back. First of all, it started with a giveaway by Nico Benalcazar, and this should never have been a clean delivery into the middle of the box. Nobody covering Amo, and he's able to easily deposit it inside the far post. Too many Wake Forest bodies in or out of position for that to have been a goal. Louisville has just smothered the Deacs here in the opening 10 minutes, and they have cashed in and gone ahead 1-0, deservedly in front here at Spry.
That's Kamara, not Amo. Kamara also scored against Syracuse. He has been on a tear. Freshman from Upper Darby, Pennsylvania, part of the YSC Academy. Scored his first collegiate goal at Syracuse, but has gone back to back to back. NC State at Syracuse, and now he scores tonight against Wake Forest. And Louisville leads 1-0. Holland onto the left, and it's taken away, possession back to the Cards.
How about this for Kamara, too, Ty? Good news when he scores goals. They are undefeated when he scores so far in those 3 games. You mentioned the wins here in the spring, but also a draw at Syracuse in the fall he scored in as well. So that is a great sign for the Cardinals to get a goal from him early.
Louisville went down to Boston College, at Boston College, 4-0. And I asked Coach Hayden, what did Boston College do to just own them in that? And he said they just didn't show up. There was a couple players he felt did not play 100%, and that kind of just carried over to the rest of the team. So he calls it a hiccup, and they said they were going to be ready to go Saturday night against Wake Forest, and that's what we see here. 1-0, Louisville leads.
Good response by the Deeks so far after the goal, a couple of minutes now, and they've pushed forward into the attacking half more than they had in the first 10 minutes of this game overall. They're going to have to take their chances because possession here is so hard to come by early on against the Cardinals.
Rula inside the 18 and then cleared away by the back line. The Deacons hoping to find an equalizer. They now move to the left side of the pitch to Forbes. Holland marked by Portman. Portman poked it away, was hoping it was off the foot of Holland Rula. But it's a throw in for Wake Forest. Just about 10 minutes in, Louisville gets on the board first. Holcomb inside the 18, tiptoeing, puts one across, looking for Hernandez right outside of the 6. Cannot connect. And the Cardinals just trying to clear it. Prince Ampanza on the ball. And here's Swallen into the middle. Escribano got that one swiped away.
Possession has been much better in this attacking spell for the Deeks than it had early on. It is going to be difficult to get a goal against this well-organized Louisville defense that just had, like you said, a hiccup against Boston College.
Here's
Not to be
Hernandez.
taken lightly.
Hernandez looking for a chip, and wow. Bell had no problems with it, but it kind of surprised us. Could have, should have, maybe, could have gotten the back of the net.
Yeah, I think that was Oscar Sears there who put a little scorpion kick on the ball. I think he, unfortunately, had somebody right behind him. Yeah, that's Forbes, I think, who probably should have been allowed to chest it down and take a better shot. But still impressive that was even remotely in the area for Bell to collect, given that little bit of skill from Oscar Sears.
The Deeks are without a good amount of bodies, and also they have some injuries. A lot of the bodies gone because of graduation and drafted to the professional ranks, but you're also without some big key players like Suzuki. You're also without Aristotle Zaris and then Garrison Tubbs. And here's the foul by Holcomb. And that's what I was getting at before Louisville scored, is that Coach Muse said this has been one of the biggest, hardest, difficult tasks as a coach. You know, just having to coach through all the missing bodies, you know, trying to find someone to basically scrimmage, because you can't scrimmage 11v11. That's how tough it is to try to prepare for an every week match.
Yeah, they just don't have enough guys. They even have some players on the roster who aren't allowed to play here in the spring because of the NCAA rules, and even with those guys, they don't have enough to do 11 on 11. So just training has been difficult. He talked a lot about load management too. We saw this team lose its legs a little bit towards the end against NC State in that goalless draw. They just didn't have enough to make a push towards the end of the game. And Coach Muse said after that game, they had to kind of reassess how they did training just to keep these guys able to push for 90 minutes on the field. And you see here one of the reasons why they have so few bodies this spring.
Yeah, all those players that got drafted. Pannenberg was drafted in the second round. Most of those guys in the first. Calvin Harris was drafted second. And, of course, Chol and Isaiah Parente both signed homegrown deals. Most likely those guys would have gone in the first round if they decided to get out of that homegrown contract. But those clubs were not going to let those players leave. So Chol is down in Atlanta. Parente is in Columbus, both in their home state. Chol looks like he was born to wear the Atlanta FC jerseys. He was already making some headlines down there in Atlanta. Some of the scrimmages. We're not surprised.
No, certainly not. As we mentioned before, he has made a couple of defenders look silly here in the NCAA, and no reason that wouldn't continue in the pro ranks.
And it's Atlanta United. I'm sorry, maybe my allegiance to Charlotte is causing me to say this, but yes. Atlanta United.
Wake has responded well since the Louisville goal, and despite that, here for 5 or 7 minutes or so, they've managed one very weak effort on net, and that's the kind of wall that they're up against now. Down a goal here to Louisville, you can have all the possession you want. That doesn't mean it's going to translate into anything. This Louisville team continues to swarm every Wake ball carrier. It's not as up-tempo as it was before they went ahead, but still, this Louisville team continues to pressure every single ball for Wake Forest. The Deeks are a little bit calmer on the ball and less sloppy than they were in the opening minutes, but they're up against it now.
Of course, we talk about every team has their stories about COVID-19 and what they've had to go and what they had to go through. And Wake Forest had their trials and tribulations about how many players has gone. But Louisville also had their issues. You go back to the fall, Coach Hayden dismissed 3 players because of a party on campus when it was against policy because of COVID-19. Of course, it was, it was written on ESPN.com. I spoke to him yesterday. He said, I stand behind it. It was the right decision. I knew it would hurt us in the short run, but in the long run, it would help us out. That he just had to make the mark, say we cannot deal with this. It does not echo our culture. And he obviously made a mark as Forbes goes down. Kyle, you had your mouth open. What happened there?
Yeah, Jelani Forbes earns this foul. This is a nothing. That's a good call. It's a shoulder to the body. Defenders are taught to do that while marshaling the ball out of play, but William Portman there just a little too physical shoulder to shoulder with Jelani Forbes, and that's a needless foul because now that ball was going to go out for a goal kick. Now Wake Forest gets what is essentially a short corner here just outside the penalty area. This is a dangerous set piece chance for the Deeks, and a very capable set piece taker in Jake Swallen over it.
Puts it on the ground. Rula. A nice idea. Forbes steps up. Here's Swallen. Can they put it right back in the mixer? Hajima. And Sears had maybe a chance for a half volley. And Bell is absolutely animated, looking towards the side judge. Sears is upset.
Everybody's upset.
Everybody's upset.
Well, yeah, Bell is upset that this was called as a corner because he thinks this went out off the attacker. Excellent header back across to the far post by Kajima, and Sears is upset with himself that he whiffed on the shot, but it still earned them a corner here. It's going to come right back at the Cardinals.
Wake really hunting for this equalizer, and then it's taken away by the Cardinals. Right up the middle, looking for Kamara. Forbes goes down. This will be a card. And it is. Card will be given to Denkwa. Eric Denkwa from Montverde Academy. Him over there from Accra, Ghana.
That's a tough card to swallow for Louisville because that's a key player and we're not 20 minutes into the game. But here in the flow of things, that is a smart foul because Jelani Forbes had a lot of space to run into in transition after stepping up to steal that ball. I'm not so sure about the short corner decision for Wake Forest here against a pressing team and a good pressing team. They weren't even able to send the ball into the box before it got stolen away. I would be surprised if they continue that should they get another corner in this game. But now Jake Swallen over this one here from deep.
Blitz this one as it's headed back and bouncing around outside the 18. But now Kassar will play his support, which is Kajima. Escobato as Forbes now gets as the center back. Had to chase that one down. So the Deeks having some issues connecting and linking up here in the early goings. Down 1-0. They had to fight through Notre Dame as Notre Dame went on top first. They had tied it up, and Notre Dame took the lead again. And then Wake Forest from a 35-yard blast from Ryan Fessler, a freshman who's just now gotten some outstanding minutes in the spring. Tied it up, and then with about a minute left in 20 or 11 seconds. That was when the ball went into the back of the net for Kyle Holcomb in the game winner. A senior-driven Notre Dame team. And there you see still the growing pains with a lot of the fresh blood on the field for Coach Muse.
Yeah, Holland Rula just not able to get on the same page with Jelani Forbes there.
Now Kassar probing past to Kajima. And very dangerous because the red jerseys were moving up and not allowing any touches by anybody in a gold jersey.
And it was dangerous too because Pedro Fonseca was on top of that one, who eventually took the shot. And he is a dangerous man to be putting the ball on net. Excellent press there coming up from the midfield for Louisville, and then Fonseca wins the corner. This Louisville team has looked so sharp off the ball to this point.
Leading 1-0. 24 minutes left to go here in the first half. Looks like Abdi Kadir is going to take the corner. This will be an outswinger. Louisville all over the pitch and looking to be the most dominant side, at least here in the first half of this one. It's Fonseca. And that will be a foul too. Is like Benal Kassar got a little extra touch by Diaz, Nico Diaz, the freshman, who has been said by his coach a totally different player from fall to now.
Yeah, so a pair of freshman Cardinals with yellow cards now, just a bit late. I'm not so sure that one was worth a yellow card, but especially here in the first half. Usually it takes a lot for a referee to card a player in the first half, but here we are now, Louisville with a pair of freshmen on yellows in the first half. That could play a part later in the game.
Fonseca and the Cardinals on the attack again. Swallen in the middle. Now gets possession back to the Demon Deacons. Holcomb once again offside, as he is kind of explaining how he wants that looping run and how that ball he wants to be put through for a through ball.
Yeah,
he knew he was offside.
Holcomb has been close now to a couple of breakaways. He's trying to deal with what looks to be a bit of an offside trap from this high line for Louisville. It's a dangerous one for the Cardinals, but they're able to manage it so far quite well.
And running out of real estate, Hernandez. That touchline came up in a hurry. But Kyle, you know, Swallen has been given some time in the middle. We talked to him yesterday or Thursday about what kind of role he has on this squad. And we saw NC State clamp down on him. So far, he's had a little space, time to work. But it seems like everybody else has been hounded by those in red jerseys. Chase Oliver coming on, another creative attacker for Coach Muse. Sears goes out, frustrated. And he almost had the equalizer.
Yeah, Wake's best attacks have come through Jake Swallen so far. No surprise there, given what we've seen from him this season. But they've just got to get him on the ball more. The best flow for Wake has been through the midfielder Jake Swallen.
Hernandez now in the middle of the circle. Hernandez still with it. Has Forbes to his left. Forbes puts the service ball, and Holcomb was right there. Very similar to those two, and what they did at South Bend for the game winner was Forbes on that left side and putting a ball across. At number 3 lurking, but Bell found it right away and immediately stopped it from reaching the boot.
Yeah, that's an experienced goalkeeper in Dietrich Bell. He knew right when to come out and smother that cross. Holcomb was lurking. He could not let that cross reach its destination.
Bell also actually started his career at UConn and then transferred over to the West, and a good rip by Kamara. Kamara really dangerous with this Louisville attack.
They've got another dangerous one in here in Makumba Ba, who's on the field for the first time this spring. Very highly touted recruit right now on the left wing, who came in for Diaz, who got that yellow card a little while ago.
Hayden says he is a dynamic winger. He excels in those 1v1 situations. Very explosive with the ball. And a lot of high praise about this kid. Was excited to finally see him on the pitch. Hernandez. Through ball to Forbes. Forbes, Holcomb. A one touch and off to the left.
A vital deflection by Bryce LaBelle on the shot there by Holcomb. First, let's take a look at that Kamara shot. Excellent volley for him to put that on net and test McNally. This shot from Holcomb, I think it caught the back of the calf of Bryce LaBelle. If not, that would have been on frame and dangerous for Bell. It wins Wake Forest a corner. Hernandez is going to take this one. Usually Swallen's the guy.
Hernandez can use both feet. Looks like it will be an outswinger though. Under 20 to go in the first 45. Deacons trailing the Cardinals 1-0. Here's the corner. Benal Kassar heading it down, looking for Prince Mpanza. Hernandez had his arms raised on that left side with plenty of space. And Escribano couldn't see him.
I think,
to be fair, Escribano did have his head down a little bit because there was other people rounding around him.
Yeah, and I think Omar Hernandez did himself in on that corner a little bit. He was waving everyone into the box for a good 10 seconds, telling, get him up there, get the bodies up there. And then his outswinger ended up outside the top of the box. Ugh, dangerous 50-50 chance there. Absolutely. Both players going to the ground.
That'll make you cringe. Here's Ba. Ba all the way from Senegal.
Well, this is everybody's first chance to get to see Makumba Ba on the field, but how about on paper his resume is stellar. Training stints with, well, you start with Orlando City, and then you also read Villarreal and Espanyol from La Liga and a Champions League club in Sporting CP out of Portugal. That is quite the resume he's got. Training stints with some big clubs.
There's another dangerous chance for Louisville to go up 2-0. And luckily by Wake Forest, it's cleared. Chase Oliver cuts into the middle. This is an outside attacker. Fonseca for the intervention there. An interesting ball by Chase Oliver. I don't know if he was trying to hit Hernandez.
He had Escribano on the overlap up the flank, didn't go for it, and then that cross ball, not sure where he was looking for.
Forbes.
Here's a chance for him here.
Chase Oliver putting not exactly the best touch on it as Holcomb has his hands up. Said he wanted it. But at least it's an attempt by the Demon Deacons offense here.
And he had a lot of space there, top of the box, but facing the wrong way, had to really contort his body on that effort. It was a good job just to get it on frame, and that's what Wake Forest needs right now. Shots on target. Continue to test Teacher Bell. Make him work between the sticks.
It's a third shot by the Deeks. 4 shots for Louisville so far. Score 1-0. Cardinals with a goal by Kamara. First 10 minutes of this match. And the Deacons are trying to respond.
This is the first time we've really seen Louisville try to build from the back. It'll be interesting to see how they play the half court. Most of their attacking possession has been off turnovers. by Wake Forest. Here's Ba.
Ba pinches in.
You wonder how much respect Makumba Ba gets. He had like 3 defenders as he pinched in towards the top of the box.
His college debut, and apparently they got the memo on it. Ba up against 2 defenders. And a long and deep shot by Denkwa will give Wake Forest a goal kick. A relentless attack by Louisville. Obviously a bad taste in their mouth from the 4-0 defeat to Boston College. And then losing to Wake Forest earlier in the fall, 3-1. Of course, Calvin Harris had a big part of that. Had a big goal. And Scholl, of course, chopped them up. But 2 different teams now in the spring.
Good work by the Deeks here. It is amazing how Louisville makes Wake Forest earn every possession into the attacking half.
Good turn by Holcomb, just right off the top of his boot. Sanchez comes in for Kamara, the senior from Madrid, Spain. 7 starts, 10 appearances, doesn't have 2 goals and 1 assist.
He comes in for Kamara. It'll be interesting to see where Sanchez puts himself on the field, listed as a midfielder. So I'm interested to see if he takes that central striker role or if Ba moves into the middle and somebody fills the winger's position.
Fastine, with no urgency, up 1-0. Clock is stopped though. Here we go. Down the touchline to Ba. Sample in the middle. Will spray it out to the right. Cardinals threatening again. This time it's Amo.
Boy, Amo looked like he had 2 or 3 opportunities to put a left-footed effort on net. Maybe he's not as comfortable with his left foot as he'd like to be, but that was a chance really for the Cardinals to go 2-0 up. Boy, what a gut punch to the Deeks that would be. They've still got an opportunity here with a set piece, though.
Cole McNally getting his back line ready for this set piece. Corner kick for Louisville. Three corners for Louisville. Good cutback and a good, somewhat finesse ball by Abdi Kadir. As McNally will roll it out to Swallen. The news just hit. Was it Friday or was it Thursday, Kyle? Even though they Twitter it, it shocked me. But the 2020 and 2021 men's NCAA tournament will be all in the state of North Carolina. And the host schools, you see Campbell, East Carolina, UNCW, UNCG, and Wake Forest right here at Spry Stadium. Forbes off to the left inside the 18.
Excellent tackle.
And the College Cup will be in Cary. So all the teams, men and women, will be here in the state of North Carolina.
Yeah, limiting travel due to the pandemic.
Holcomb. This will be another corner for Wake Forest.
These Louisville defenders on target with their tackles. Excellent one there from LaBelle to keep that from getting on net. A better one from Haji Abdikadir earlier out there on the edge of the box to stop Forbes. A couple of great tackles here by Louisville. Here's that chance for Holcomb. LaBelle just denying that shot with a great tackle. But yeah, Ty, great news for the state of North Carolina, obviously, and the fans here in this ACC state. But
smart by the NCAA, too, to say, hey, you know what? We're just going to keep everything here. Keep travel down. Lessen the risk. It'll be a fun time here in North Carolina.
Hovering ball. Ponza right inside the 18, and there is a whistle blown. And Portman kind of went for a diving header right at the foot of Ponza. Let's see this again. Good job by our replay operator. And did they call a high kick on that situation?
I'm not quite sure what the call was. Portman, you're right. There was a bit of a diving header there. I'm not sure if the referee thought he was pushed or what the call was. Either way, another vital clearance by that Louisville back line. Portman doing the important work.
There's Colin Thomas now on the pitch for Wake Forest. Kojima. Wake Forest working to move it up the pitch. Fessler also. And a substitution into the middle. Escribano.
There's the ball they're looking for.
Hernandez.
And another good tackle.
And a couple skips on the grass. Bell very confident. Not having to really work for that one.
Kojima had a lot of space. He got closed down. And Hernandez, his shot could have had some venom on it, but another good stop by a Louisville defender. Caught just enough of the ball to allow it to skip harmlessly to Dietrich Bell. This back line for Louisville has been tested a little more over the last 10 minutes or so, but they have come up big.
Hernandez inside the 18. And then Fessler lays it off to Kojima.
How Wake Forest did not get a shot off on that spell, I have no idea. My goodness, everything was wide open for the Deeks in transition off a turnover and somehow unable to put a shot on net. Just a few too many touches there for the Deeks. That was the biggest chance of the half.
About 8.5 to go until halftime. There's a shove. Oh, got away with it. Chase Oliver kind of looking at the referees. Kind of got shoved. But Louisville will throw it in.
It's funny, Ty, you look at how analytics in soccer have grown, and one of the more mainstream analytics is expected goals, right? It's a great statistic for evaluating the flow of a full match or even a full season. Can give you some good information, but it always has to be taken in context. And expected goals, the biggest flaw, Ty, of expected goals is that it requires a shot in order to register an expected goal value for the shot. And that's a good situation, or a good example of why expected goals has a flaw, is because on that amazing Wake Forest chance in transition, they had a wide open net, unable to get a shot off. So the expected goals for that move would have been 0.0. We'll take a look at here, because on this turnover, just a wide open chance here. One-on-one, Holcomb decides from a tight angle to instead center it, and then Hernandez can't get the shot off.
Yeah.
It's, and that's a situation where Wake Forest, 0.0 expected goals from that move. Clearly, they would have expected a goal on that chance. Analytics are very useful, but still a little bit flawed. Got to take everything into consideration when you evaluate a match.
Hernandez will want that back. Kind of just got caught in the chamber. Deeks still trail 1-0. 6.5 to go until halftime. Ma rushing on. Fonseca rushing on. Escribano and Chase Oliver meet up with Fonseca. And it'll be a foul on Escribano. Let's see if we see Abdi Kadir come in for this free kick. There is number 4. You can really play him anywhere on the pitch, Coach Hayden said. He's got next level type stuff. The junior from Louisville, Kentucky. And goodness, did you see that knuckle a little bit?
Yeah, it sure did. And if that had been a little lower and had a little more dip, that would have been a big problem for McNally. He did not have that upper left corner covered. And that is some effort by Abdi Kadir. He came very close to another Louisville strike.
He was a refugee from Kenya, coming to the States at age 7. Played on concrete until he got to the States. Now he finds himself here playing for the Louisville Cardinals, one of the best conferences in the nation, the ACC. Thomas chasing this one. Ba lost it. But Alcazar coming out with it. Through ball.
Heavy touches have been a problem for Wake Forest, too, on this rain-soaked pitch. They are not able to corral some of those better passes because of some heavy touches. You see there, Kyle Holcomb, it just got away from him on that excellent through ball by Ben Alcazar.
And Fonseca, who Coach Hayden says is essential for this offense to click. When he has the ball at his feet, he can create a lot of things. And we've seen number 7 with a lot of touches tonight here in the first 45. Maybe we'll see if Wake Forest can try to clamp him down in the second half. 4 minutes now left here in the first 45. Bell will just clear it off to the bench of Wake Forest.
Kyle Holcomb hasn't been able to put many efforts on net, but he has been a dangerous presence for Wake Forest all evening. Often we see him spelled by David Rona, but we have not seen Rona yet because Holcomb has been such a dangerous presence, making things happen for Wake, even though he hasn't gotten on the score sheet just yet in this game.
Here's Thomas, gets the handball.
We'll never know for sure whether he does that on purpose, but it sure looked like it. Hemmed in there by the touchline, and that little flick, if he did it on purpose, that's a very impressive accuracy.
Handball by Matty Walters, the transfer from Bowling Green. 3 minutes now with a set piece for Wake Forest. A header, and just what a brilliant save by Bell.
Oh my goodness, what a save. Bell is vocal after that, and rightly so. Spectacular header by Ben Alcazar. Not sure what he has to do to get a goal. He had a couple of great looks against NC State. That one was a pinpoint header that he won on the aerial duel here at the corner. Excellent effort.
And a better save by Bell. My goodness, what a stop.
Off the fingertips of Bell. And he pretty much saved Louisville from being tied here, 1-1. Bell, part of the Bermuda national team. Hernandez, 2 minutes now. The Deacons really hoping to level this up before half.
Louisville's got to be careful here in midfield. We know a couple of guys are already on a yellow card, and that's one of them is Eric Dankwa. He has got to be careful. The referee says, hey, watch it. You're already on a yellow. That would be a game changer here with Louisville up a goal.
Hernandez puts it inside the 18. Another header by Benalcazar. And this one's not even close to the frame.
I wonder if Dietrich Bell is ever happy. He's got words with his defense every single time Wake Forest is able to get a touch in the box. And, hey, that's what makes a good goalkeeper, right? Vocal.
Yep.
Organize that defense. Tell them where they are. Tell them where the ball is, who's got what man. Very experienced.
He's very poised. He's very confident. He also is very good with his feet. He trusts his feet. And that is key when you have a back line that wants to play their goalkeeper. I know we've had discussions about that, Kyle, offset, about the importance of, or some people you might say blow it out of proportion. I think the goalkeeper that's good with their feet.
No, I think, oh, look out.
And I'm not sure what happened here with Benal Kassar.
This is a decision for the referee here. What's he going to do? Just a yellow for Benalcazar. Could have made a case for a last man foul there. Benalcazar tripped over the ball and had to recover because looming was Makumba Ba. And at the end of that, brought Ba down. That was a big decision for the referee. I think he made the right decision. There were defenders there. Yeah, you see Mpanza coming over at the end of that. I think that's probably why the referee said ultimately just a yellow, but that is a clear, what you call a professional foul by Benalcazar, absorbing the yellow. A chance for Wake Forest to potentially go down a man there, but I think the ref made the right call.
And it looked like it all of a sudden disappeared from his feet. And Ba was right there with it. So like you said, Kyle, Benal Kassar had to make a professional foul. But still, you put number 4 behind the ball right outside of the 18. You have about 44 ticks until halftime. And what a big goal this would be for Louisville if they go up 2-0. Abdi Kadir, but this is Fonseca. And a great save by McNally. The big stature freshman from Mount Airy, Maryland. As you see Fonseca just trying to curl it and tuck it into that corner. McNally today, I saw him. He was just very excited about the great weather. Obviously, it was before the thunderstorm. Just excited to get on the pitch tonight. We'll poke over to Colin Thomas. 8 seconds. Kajima. And this will finish out the first half. The Deeks allow Louisville to just run around, and they have a lot of energy, to say the least.
Yeah, they sure do. That high press has caused Wake Forest all kinds of problems. They have to figure out how to deal with that at the half, because remember, Ty, a draw does neither of these teams any good. The 3 points is all they're looking for.
Kamara scored with the first 10 minutes, and they lead 1-0. We're coming back here to Winston-Salem. Our first half is complete. There's the congregation congregating right outside of the stadium, right above the wall. And glad that they can actually make it here as restrictions have kind of gone down a little bit because of the cases have gone down, Kyle. But I tell you, after that goal, Wake Forest kind of responded, still looking for that to level it up. But check out how Louisville came into this game just raring to go.
Yeah, their press forced to give away early. Amo down the right end line, and Kamara all alone for his 4th goal of the season. Louisville a deserved early lead. As you mentioned, Wake responded well and got a couple of chances. As you see there, a swing and a miss early on from Sears, and then a save by Bell. Dietrich Bell in goal was huge for Louisville. Couple of saves in the first half as Holcomb missed just wide on a deflection. This may be the best opportunity. We're first here as you see Chase Oliver into the waiting arms of Dietrich Bell, who is positioned well. This one, Nico Benalcazar with a fabulous header, but an even better save from Bell kept Wake Forest off the score sheet. Louisville finishing it out here with Fonseca, his free kick stopped by Cole McNally, but an excellent first half from Louisville as that press smothered Wake Forest. A bit sloppy from the Deeks.
Yeah, very sloppy to start things off. I'm sure that would be addressed in the locker room. Here's the stats. Shots, Wake Forest losing in that department. They usually lead in that department, but only trailing by 1, 8 shots to 7 shots on goal. Half of Louisville shots on frame, only 3 for Wake Forest. Corners tied 4-4, and you see the saves by Bell and McNally. The Deeks, they've had some opportunities on that flank. Forbes with some space. You saw Louisville put on that press, but sometimes they back away from that press. You'd see Forbes able to put balls inside the 18. Kyle, you think maybe Kyle Holcomb will now execute and finish one of those, right?
Yeah, you would think he's the target man up front. He's been dangerous here in this first half. You saw in that highlight package a couple of chances for him in the first half. Some deflections have sent his shots wide, but you can bet that Kyle Holcomb would be right there up front.
Yeah, and Louisville also will hope to they probably will not in their press because that's worked so well. Here's the ACC and what it's been like for COVID-19. A 2-season type season, if you will. Fall and then spring. You had fall, then you stop for a break, and then a spring session, which is very similar to the 21st century model, and then the ACC tournament. Kyle, I think it's been a interesting season. Coaches have enjoyed it because the break, but they've also had to go with a lot of adversity. Players leaving from the fall, coming to the spring. Also, Louisville had to add 6 players for the spring. So it's been a ride. It's been a memorable ride, maybe forgettable ride, but we're still playing soccer, which that's the key thing.
Sure is.
And here we are in the last weekend in March, getting ready for postseason play, which will be right here in the state of North Carolina and right here at Spry Stadium.
Expect Wake Forest, as you see, coming out of halftime with a lot of energy. They know they've got to conserve things a little bit given their numbers, but the way the first half went, you can imagine that Bobby Muse would have had some words in the locker room at halftime, and I would expect the Deeks to come out with a burst of energy here to start this second half. They'll be looking to get a goal early because if they don't, Louisville can start to pack things in and play for that victory. Remember, 3 points here is what either team needs to keep pace with Clemson. A draw does neither side any good towards eventually putting themselves in a position to win the division. They have got to keep pace with a 4-0-0 Clemson team that won earlier today in exciting fashion.
Clemson awaits. And Wake Forest, those two have linked up twice in the fall. Destined to link up again. Well, they will link up here in the spring session. 3 times playing Clemson. Here's a shot by Kojima and punched away by Bell.
Well, we've seen Kojima do that a couple times since earning his starting spot, haven't we, Ty? That was from deep, and all Bell could do is tap it over.
Coach Muse just could not describe the fight that his new Deeks have, the resilience they have. Well, they're going to have to put it on display now, trailing 1-0, and they are coming out firing here early in the first 2 minutes of this second half.
Yeah, you look at their schedule, Ty, this season. In the fall, they had an OT winner against North Carolina. They had a late winner against Duke. Those were in back-to-back games. Now here in the spring, a come-from-behind win over BC and a come-from-behind win over Notre Dame. This has been a resilient squad all year.
Yeah, Boston College team that did not play in the fall, but brought a lot of their players back from 2019. So a team that they were familiar with themselves. And then Notre Dame, who also has a senior-driven team. And then having Wake Forest, a brand-new spring team, come back from behind and beat them in South Bend, which we know how tough that is to beat the Irish in South Bend. And there will be a foul on Kyle Holcomb a little late on that tackle. As I think that is Portman. We saw Portman kind of give an extra shove to Forbes. Maybe that was clearly noted by Kyle Holcomb as he decided to give a little extra. You know how it is on the field.
Yeah, there was nothing in that.
Yeah.
Holcomb says, come on now.
I just love watching Holcomb's facial expressions throughout the game.
I know.
Great.
He sure does wear his heart on his sleeve.
Love it. The passion that kid has every night. Very impressive. Down the sideline. Deeks immediately put 2 on him.
Yeah, he's been double teamed pretty much his entire time on the field, and he's still putting some good work in.
Who was supposed to get to Louisville at an earlier time, but was hung up because of visa issues, and then finally got to campus, was ready to go against NC State, and got a knock on his ankle, which had him out. But Coach Hayden said he was excited, cannot wait to see number 11 on the field tonight against Wake Forest. Coach Hayden, who played his college ball at Indiana and is from Louisville, now leading the Cardinals. A shot by Sears is blocked. And this will trickle out, but it's off the foot of Bah.
Well, if there's been one consistent knock against Wake Forest in the attacking third in this game, it's that they're a little too unselfish. Take a shot. Have an effort. They've had a couple of touches, a couple of chances that have been downed by one too many touch.
That's a good fight by Holcomb. And Holcomb wants a foul on Bah as he came in reckless. But the referee is not going to give it to Wake Forest.
Bit late.
And my apologies, it was reckless on Sears, not Bah. Yeah.
He probably could have earned himself a yellow card on another day there as well. Got to keep those studs down.
Yeah, late and right in front of the official. Luckily, no card for Sears. As the Deacons searching for an equalizer. Down 1-0. And with 5 minutes gone by in the second half. Now, Kyle, for Louisville, you know, you've had success. You're sitting at 1-0 after being blown out against Boston College. I mean, in this particular situation, you're just, say, if it's not broke, don't try to fix it, right? Just keep going with what's working.
That's correct. Hey, remember the keys to the game that we had talked about from Louisville head coach John Michael Hayden early in the game. Remember what that was?
Don't let Wake Forest dictate the game. If you suddenly sit back and absorb pressure, you're going to concede an equalizer. This Louisville team has got to come out firing from the start of the second half with that press, and they sure have.
And Portman, I don't think, quite understood the quickness Colin Thomas has, as Thomas almost stole that away from Portman and about went 1v1 with Bell. Deacons looking more like Wake Forest soccer here in this half. That goes out of and they'll look like it was going to be a corner, but the flag is pointed at the goalkeeper, so it'll be a goal kick for Louisville. Escorbano had the last touch, and Rick Rogers, the AR, was right there. Johnny on the spot. Deeks now have 10 shots. They had 7 coming into the second half. Louisville with 8. 4 now on frame for the Deeks. Trailing 1-0 on Ponza. Rula into space. Holcomb waiting.
Excellent run by Holland Rula, and that's going to win a corner. Skipped around 3 Louisville defenders, Set piece chance here for Wake. They've got to make the most of those. They've been hard to come by here against the stout Louisville team.
Portman tried to sell it off as if All and Rula touched it last, but kind of laughed at it later. At least it was an attempt. Here's a corner kick for Wake Forest. Swallowed the service ball.
Vicious effort.
Kojima at his feet. Banal Kassar having to hustle back. Swallen into space to Thomas. Thomas still with it, gets tripped up. Perfect play by Colin Thomas to draw the contact. And now Wake Forest has a chance right outside of the 18. The foul should be on Danquah. It looks like it is another yellow for the Louisville Cardinals. Thomas.
I think this one's on Portman here. Yeah, there's the shoulder. Because Danquah's better not be on him.
Yeah,
if
you're
the
right.
Cardinals, he's already got a yellow. So that one on Portman there, you know, it's right outside the box. Got to be careful if you're a defender. And that's an excellent job by Wake Forest to earn a set piece from a chance that Louisville seemed to have covered. Now a very, very dangerous.
You have three dangerous feet right here. You have Swallen's right, and then you've got Hernandez left and right. Here's a shot by Hernandez. It's in.
Bell never saw the ball until it was too late. You saw his reaction. Hernandez sniping the top right corner. You said it. Dangerous left foot there for Omar Hernandez. And what a delivery here. 1, 2. Louisville has no idea what's coming. 3. Bell could not reach it until it was too late. And that is the spark that Wake Forest needed. You pick it up on a set piece, and now the Deeks have got victory in their sights. This is anybody's game. Ty will say it one more time. A draw helps nobody. Either team wants those 3 points. Who's going to take it? We've got 35 minutes to find out. This is fun.
An absolute missile by Omar Hernandez, his third goal of the season. His second set piece. He did one against Duke, an absolute Ronaldo-esque set piece goal he did against Duke at Duke. Well, that one is right up there with it. Ties it up 1-1. The drama now builds, a brand new ball game. As Kyle says, every minute we'll be hunting for the go-ahead goal because a tie does not help any of these clubs.
A tie doesn't eliminate either team, but just 1 point shared between the two of them basically puts Clemson through to the victory in the Atlantic Division. It wouldn't mathematically clinch things, but with how good they've been, Clemson would have to lose out essentially, or lose draw and have Wake win out in order to lose the division. So Clemson would be sitting pretty if these two teams draw. That is what the Tigers are rooting for sure.
The Deeks fighting back. They've leveled it at 1.
Remember, though, whoever wins this game controls its own destiny because they both, Louisville and Wake Forest, have Clemson on the schedule remaining this season. So both teams would technically control their own destiny should they win this game.
And Louisville will go back home for 2 home matches. Wake Forest goes on the road to Clemson and then to Syracuse. 2 very tough opponents. Obviously with Clemson. Talk about playing Clemson twice on the road in one season. That is tough to deal with. And 7 ACC wins. Bobby Muse has never won 8 ACC matches in a season. Now, this has been an interesting season, been a different season. They came close in 2018. But a win here would give them 8 ACC wins. As Holcomb shakes his head, that's a call. Hernandez levels it up. Technically, they have, as Kyle's yelling at me, no, technically they have 8 wins, but that win against Louisville was considered not a conference game.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And I did the same thing before when I was prepping. I said, no, they already have 8. But then someone decided to let me know that that first win was not considered a conference win, if that makes any sense. It doesn't. Intra-divisional. Thank you by our best producer of all time, Everett Hutto. Thank you. Here's a chance for Wake Forest now to go ahead. Hernandez on his right. Step over, has Holcomb to his left.
I think a few too many Cristiano Ronaldos there for Omar Hernandez.
Too much for Fonseca. As maybe, and this would favor Wake Forest, Fonseca could be winded. Thomas.
There's been a lot of back and forth. You mentioned winded. A lot of back and forth over the past couple of minutes. A lot of running for both teams trying to get back in transition. This last half hour could be fascinating given we know what's at stake here results-wise. But these two teams could be a little bit out of gas towards the end.
Escribano turns. Sears. Swallet. The Deacs have put 4 shots on the tally here in the second half. Louisville has yet to put 1 on here in the second half. Hernandez right through the corner. Cutting in Escribano. And this will be a corner, will be off the foot of Fastine.
Excellent work by the Deacs down the right. Escribano, a right back, but he's got winger capabilities, as you saw there. The ball just got stuck at his foot a little bit, a half second too long at one point, or else he had a perfect cross opportunity. But here he won them a corner. Set pieces have already delivered them a goal in this game.
In swinger by Hernandez. Benalcazar leaps in the air. Hung up there for a while and didn't quite get the contact he wanted. Bell will roll it over to Amo. As Amo pushes it into the middle.
I think Nico Benalcazar has to pray a little harder to the soccer gods. He has been in the mix for just about every set piece this spring and has come close on numerous occasions. We saw him force an incredible save by Bell in the first half. He has come so close to a goal on so many occasions. He's got one this season, but he's had the opportunities for so many more, just unlucky.
With too much space. As it's poked away by Wake Forest. Back into possession for the Cards. Bell has 5 saves on the evening so far. McNally with 3. Beautiful footwork. Gets past Swallen. Kojima says he really doesn't have a position. We saw him play a lot of left back, right back. But he looks like he belongs in the center. He has a silky smooth touch, and he's able to see the field very well. Someone that has had to step in for Takuma Suzuki, who was out. And not to mention Parente, who's off to the pros.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of midfielders at Wake Forest here grow over the years. But Kojima has come in and almost skipped the growing process a little bit. He's got a ways to go still, but he has proven to be a fabulous player as just a freshman.
Looks like we'll have another substitution. Ba goes out. Sanchez back in. Also, Denkwa will go out. as well as the dangerous Kamara is out for Louisville.
Yeah, it looks like wholesale changes here for the Cardinals. We'll see who comes in. I think head coach John Michael Hayden wants to take no chances with Eric Dankwa, as he has tested that yellow card on a couple of occasions after getting the first one in this game very early on.
And Colin Thomas with a well-deserved rest. He has played an outstanding match tonight. Created a lot of opportunities for the Demon Deacons attack. Listen, Ponce lays it off. Dangerous. Rula gets upended. Could this be another card? A red.
Well,
I tell you, Kyle, we saw that first reckless tackle, and you said on the broadcast you have to be careful with some of these aggressive tackles. I don't think Portman got the memo, so Portman is sent off. 2 yellows equal a red.
I think, I'm going to be honest with you, Ty, it doesn't matter end result. I think he gave a straight red for that tackle.
Oh, did he? Okay.
He didn't even brandish the yellow card. So I think the referee just said, you know what, that's enough with that tackle. And if you're the referee, that tackle easily deserved a yellow. And as I said, end result doesn't matter. That's a high boot right to the ankle of Holland Rula. And as a referee, you've got to take control of the match. And you have to send a message to say, hey, we've seen a little bit of this physical play. It's gotten a little loose. No more. And whether it's a straight red or a second yellow, as a guy who's on a yellow, you've got to know that you can't do that. And you're risking, if you make it there in time, okay, it's a solid tackle. But if you're even a smidge late or off target, you're going to be sent off. And as a player, you've just got to know that that's not something you can do, especially as a junior with that kind of experience.
So it's a straight red from Portman. My apologies. I thought it was another yellow, which equaled a red.
Well, either way.
Yeah. I mean, it's a red and see you later.
Yeah.
Your night's over. Portman was very physical from the beginning, making sure that he put some muscle on, whether it was Forbes, whether it was Kyle Holcomb. Surprised he didn't get tangled up with number 3, because we see Kyle Holcomb always finding someone in the back line to lose their temper.
Well, now the game changes, right, Ty? So it's level at 1. We've got almost a half hour left, and the question becomes, can Louisville hang on? Now, you can't, with this high press and the Wake's potential for turnovers in this game, you can't rule a man down goal out for sure, especially since we know that Louisville will not want to accept a draw in this game. But a point is better than none, especially since it keeps your hopes alive. And so now the game changes. The other side of this for Wake Forest is you do not want to lose another player. And Holland Rula just took a vicious tackle to the left shin. And this team is already incredibly thin. It's tough for a head coach like Bobby Muse. You can work wonders as a head coach and still not be able to get past as tall of a task as he's got right now. Holland Rula, one of the veterans on this team, a junior. You would hate to lose an experienced player like this, already as thin as they are. So many injuries.
Coach Muse shaking his head at the reckless challenge by Portman. Portman from Sheffield, England, sent off with a straight red.
And what's tough, too, about it, Ty, is, sometimes you just have to swallow bad injury luck, and that's fine. Guys pull hamstrings or, twist ankles, whatever it might be. But you don't want to absorb bad tackles that cause injuries, right? That's not something you ever want to see on the field. And here, those are the hardest to take, because bad injury luck happens. But when it comes on a difficult play like that, on a bad tackle from an opponent, those are the hardest to swallow.
And you almost cringed when that ball was out in front and Holland Rula got it first, and you saw Portman coming in, that you knew the collision was going to be the result. Oliver comes in, Rula out. Rula is able to get back. A very key part, the back line for the Demon Deacons. Here's the free kick by Hernandez, skies it high, and it's out of bounds. You see And Ponce with his thumb up, as it was the right idea. He was going to try to find Ponce's head, but it was too heavy on the touch. It goes out of bounds.
I think Jelani Forbes, my guess is he'll go back to left back where Rula was, since we saw him at fullback early in the season, and then he was moved into that winger role. So my guess is, yep, there he is. Jelani Forbes is going to go to left back, and Oliver will take Forbes' position at left wing.
And then who will play the other side?
Escobar.
No, the other
the other wing.
Yeah.
You've got Thomas.
Colin Thomas is back on?
I would assume it's the switch. I haven't
seen it. It's tough to see from here. I'm just going through the personnel decisions, too, because, we talked about how thin Wake Forest is, and then we're going through our cards and trying to figure out, now, if you place this player here, who goes here? Yeah. And we saw Colin Thomas go off, so I'm curious to see now what Coach Bobby Muse has done. But you're right on it, Kyle. Forbes does move to the left back position. And unfortunately, the attack will take a hit because he's been really dominant up there, creating a lot of opportunities.
Well, it looks like Hernandez has taken a spot here on the left wing, at least for now. It might be just in game flow, but we'll have to watch that. Sears is up front, or at least in midfield where Hernandez was. A lot of shuffling is the bottom line here.
A shot by Diaz. Walters comes in. The thing about playing a team with 10 men is if you're the team with 11, you have to make sure you know you have 11 and not sit back. Seen that many times in the EPL, my team, going up one player and then feeling like they're just going to wait this one out. This will be another card, this one given to Chase Oliver.
What team is that?
I'm not going to say. I'm too embarrassed.
Might it be the team with the cannon on their logo? Let me take another look at this card here. Just a bit of an errant foot. I think the referee's trying to clamp down on this game. I don't know if that was really a yellow card tackle, but here in the second half, you've got under a half hour to go. Referee's really trying to put a lid on this game. It hasn't gotten chippy. Chippy's not the word I would describe. It's just been physical. And when you have a team lose a player on a bad tackle like that, you're always going to be a little bit, as a referee, cognizant of how the game is played over the next 10 minutes or so.
Well, you see the card total, and Wake Forest actually has the most fouls in this so far. 11 fouls to Louisville's 7 so far on the night.
Think about this, though. You look at the card total. Louisville has 7 fouls. 4 of those 7 fouls have been card-worthy. That tells you how physical this game has been.
The referee points the other direction in favor of the Cardinals. Bell has faced 12 shots. McNally has faced 9. 5 saves for Bell and 4 for McNally. All level 1 apiece with 24 and a half left to go.
Louisville has to be careful when in possession because bad giveaways can lead to a break for Wake Forest, and in transition, man up, that could be deadly. Cardinals have to be pinpoint in transition. The field's a little wet out there. It has absorbed a ton of moisture today.
Yes.
It was pouring around probably 4 o'clock.
A thunderous afternoon, to say the least, here in the Triad, Winston-Salem. It was a lot of rain. But it was game on. As the clouds moved away, the sun came out. Big matchup between the Cardinals and the Deacons. Tied 1-1. Cardinals got the first goal. First 10 minutes of the first half. In the early goings of the second half, Wake Forest responded with a set piece. This free kick by Hernandez. First class in the upper corner. leveled it up at 1. And Louisville playing with 10 men now as Portman went out on a straight red.
And credit Louisville. If you've only saw the bit of play from that red card, you wouldn't know that Louisville was down a man right now. Wake has held the lion's share of possession, but they do that often anyways, even at even strength. So credit Louisville right now. They've held strong. Now, they've still got 22 and a half minutes to go, but so far, so good for the Cardinals.
Amo lays it off to Bell, and Bell will sky high it all the way past the midway line. As we mentioned earlier, Clemson won in the afternoon matchup between Boston College. That was a throw. Forbes pinches into the middle. Lost the ball. Surprised they didn't. Well, they called the foul. They called the foul on Wake. He's pointing in the direction for a Louisville free kick. But Abdi Kadir was motioning like it was my fault. No, it's a free kick for the Cardinals. Playing with 10 men. The Deacs fought back in South Bend. Can they fight back here at home, the last home game of the regular season? They fought back to make it 1-1. Can they find the game winner and give Bobby Muse 100 wins as coach of Wake Forest? Slipping and sliding on this pitch as Forbes goes down. We saw Oliver go down. But the field looks absolutely magnificent.
Sure does.
There's a service ball by Sample. Nobody there. Did have Diaz. Escribano now in possession. Let's see if the Deacs move it out from the back. Kojima playing the center mid position tonight. Two freshmen there with Kojima and Oliver. And Ponza, Forbes, both of those are freshmen. And Sears also a freshman. Oliver getting through. The flag was up. I am curious at that, though. As it looked like Oliver timed his run, but my friend Rick Rogers had the flag up.
Yeah.
And he'll yell at me
way,
later. So
either way, I mean, that was an excellent ball from Jake Swallen, just a bit deep. And a good job by Bell coming off his line. That's the mark of an experienced goalkeeper. I think that's one of the hardest things to do as a goalkeeper, is to know when to come out and when to sit back, because your body's instinct is to sit back and wait and not come off your line and leave your goal unprotected.
Good long ball for Diaz. Little shove on Benal Kassar. No whistle blown. Kojima comes out of nowhere, clears it. Fonseca hits the ground. Fonseca wants a penalty. And Kojima says, maybe I got you out.
That was an excellent tackle by Kojima. Definitely not a foul. Here, Benalcazar tried to win a foul, didn't get the call, and that left Louisville wide open. Kojima did an excellent job to clear the ball.
You see the official with his hands up saying, I don't know what you want me to call here. But, yeah, you're right. Benalcazar got in front and hoped for a shove in the back. But that is a bit of a gamble when you stop like that, hoping for that call. And if you don't get the call, you're in trouble, because Louisville could be right at the touchline, near the goal. 18 and a half to go in regulation. The final half of this one. Tied 1-1.
Ty, you would never know that this Louisville team is down a man. They have done an excellent job absorbing the Wake Forest pressure in the half court, and they've done an even better job creating turnovers in the attacking half and turning that into good attacking spells. This Cardinals team is well constructed and well structured.
And Coach Hayden said in the fall, because of the dismissal of 3 players and suspending 3 players because of a party and a direct infraction of the rules in COVID-19 era. But he said that he actually had to go and train with them because they were short of numbers. So they were playing 10v10.
Do you think we'll see Coach Muse on the training field anytime soon?
Maybe. He does run a lot. I don't know if he wants to actually get into training.
Well, you know, you see John Michael Hayden on the training pitch. That's nothing to shake at. He was drafted 13th overall in 2007 by the Houston Dynamo. He can play.
He won 2 national titles at Indiana.
Right.
He wanted to go to Louisville, but at the time when he was recruited, Indiana was a top-notch program, still is, and decided he would go play his college ball at Indiana. Made the right decision, but he wanted to come home because he is from Louisville. And the keys were given to him a little earlier than he thought as Lola decided to retire. But he viewed it as getting the keys to the Ferrari when he was sitting in the passenger side. And he finally gets the keys and he's in charge. I mean, you talk about the facilities that Louisville has and then the type of atmosphere in the whole town of Louisville. They love soccer, just like here in Winston-Salem. The USL team there, Louisville City. One of the great stadiums in college soccer at the Lynn. And they've got an impressive group, 6th in the nation recruiting class. They lost a couple because of COVID. The players decided to, instead of wait around and see what was going to happen, go pro or go across seas. But I think Louisville's in good hands with Coach Hayden. Oliver to the right side. Escribano inside the 18. Escribano with a shot with his left. And it goes to the right of the post.
Kyle Holcomb wanted that one. He was near the top of the box. This is an excellent effort by Escribano with his left foot. Just wide, I think, on the deflection. Holcomb, though, palms up. He has been wanting a chance here, right there next to him.
Yeah, and Thomas was also poaching right on that far stick. Oh, deflected, so good job by our producer letting us know it is deflected. So a corner kick for Wake Forest. It's going to be Swallen with the outswinger. And Ponza couldn't quite put his laces on it.
Goodness gracious, he just clobbered Nico Benalcazar in the back of the head with that shot.
And you got to feel for Coach Moose. Now we got another player down. It's Benalcazar.
What can you do to keep players on the field at this point?
He looks to be okay, as Holland Rula was off earlier from a red card by Portman. Oh yeah, Ponza in a volley right off the head, or the face, pardon me, of Benalcazar. He looks to be okay and laughing it off. Coach Moose with his tense eyes, probably saying, please stay on the field. I don't need any more injuries. But Benalcazar will come out, just get observed. Looks to be okay, though. 15 minutes remain in this second half. Tied 1-1. Of course, Louisville with 10 men after a red card by William Portman. Because of that red card, took out Holland Rula, who's been out since. The Deeks now have 13 total shots on the night. They have 6 here in the second half. Louisville with just 1.
Credit the refereeing crew tonight in this game as well. It has been a difficult game to referee, and not only the head ref, but the linesmen as well have been very decisive. There's been no thinking about decisions. They know what they want to do immediately, and that has been impressive to see from this refereeing crew. But, you know, the head official as well deserves a lot of credit for keeping a lid on this game and being decisive with his decisions to give out cards and other choices he's had to make.
Benalcazar, who's gone out, it looks like, oh, now he's back in. He actually leads with 3 shots, 3 of the 13 shots that Wake Forest has put on. Thomas can't turn, he'll play his support. Leading in the shot department for Louisville is Fonseca. He's with 3 shots. Escobar. Probing pass from Swallen to Thomas.
The clock now the enemy for Wake Forest more than anything. Louisville has begun to really pack it in the half court. 14 minutes to go. Wake's got a wall to get past.
Here's the Deeks
winner.
synchronizing an attack. Forbes to the left as he's creeped up from the back line. Swallen, look at the space he has now with Louisville playing a man down.
Yeah, they've all but turned off the press here with 14 minutes to go. Jake Swallen's passing is fantastic.
He's just got such a sweet spot on his foot. He just knows how to.
Great vision, too.
Such good touch. Fessler as the Deeks engineering an attack here with about 13 minutes left. Tied 1-1.
I think Wake Forest trying to back the ball up a little bit, see if they can get Louisville out of the shell and then go forward again, because right now Louisville has all 10 players behind the ball, and you see there they're just in clear it mode.
A heavy touch by Escobar, but possession right back to the Demon Deacons. It's the back line has moved right to the midway line.
This is the epitome of what they say, park the bus. The bus is squarely parked in front of the congregation here at Spry Stadium.
Can the Deeks penetrate? And they almost got a one-touch goal by Fessler. He's scored before, scored against Notre Dame, a 35-yard out rocket that knuckled into the net at South Bend. The equalizer, and then Kyle Holcomb with the game winner. 14 shots now for the Demon Deacons, 9 for the Louisville Cardinals. And Holcomb is going to apply the press on Abdi Kadir. Great footwork by Amo to Fonseca. Amo, who's already been drafted by Real Salt Lake, who will join former Cardinal Tate Schmidt. Quick roller over to Prince Mpanza. Clock down to about 11 minutes. Tied 1-1. Swallen. Deek's last match here at Spry was a draw 0-0 to NC State. They have the advantage. By bodies on the pitch. They're by 1. 11 men to Louisville's 10. And we got 10.5 to go. Can Wake Forest find a way to get the go-ahead goal? Another substitution. Latos, who just got to campus not too long ago. He was overseas, stuck trying to get back because of COVID. But Coach Muse happy to see him.
Kyle Holcomb getting a rest here with 10 minutes to go. You wonder if he'll see more time in this game if it does head to overtime. Coach Muse wisely getting him a little bit of a breather before we go to the extra period.
Voltos, the sophomore from Manila, Philippines. Escribano gets a yellow.
Yeah, a bit of a tackle in transition there. That's one he's happy to absorb. Definitely don't want to get Louisville a chance, man down here towards the end of the game. Again, referee trying to keep a lid on this one.
I guess so, you're right. Coach Hayden with his hands up as Diaz hit the ground. Holcomb keeping his legs warm. Will we see him back on the pitch again? My thoughts say yes. Tied up in the yellow cards department, 3-3. But Louisville has one red. Fonseca goes down, Swollen stuck his foot in there. Fonseca goes to the ground, so it'll be a free kick for the Cardinals. Cuts his eye, that Swollen. And he wasn't too happy about that. And here's maybe a chance for the Cardinals here. A lifting shot by Abdi Kadir. And here is Voltos moving up the pitch. Voltos was 10 years old in Nike Town on vacation in Chicago. And he saw these Nike Tiempo shoes, and he liked them so much, he didn't know what they were. Someone told him they were soccer shoes, but he wanted them so bad. His dad said, "I'll buy these shoes for you if you start playing soccer." Perfect investment. So he started playing soccer, and here he is playing for a top-notch program. And this could be a goal. No! My goodness, how did that get past Bell? And it just rolled straight to that left stick.
Wow, out of nothing.
I just looked up and saw the ball just trickling, destined to maybe get across the goal line. But fortunate for Louisville, fortunately for them, the ball hit that woodwork, and it keeps it 1-1.
Oh, man. Colin
Kojima.
Thomas was racing up the left, and Kojima never saw him, and now this is a foul to Louisville.
Kojima just had one extra touch. Now, he was being challenged. He was going up against Sample. But Kyle, you're right. Colin Thomas was wide open to the left. Let's take a look at the replay. Here's the foul first. Referee says play on. And watch this play back as it just a miscommunication.
That would have been a heartbreaking own goal for Abdi Kadir.
Something he can do in his sleep by just playing his support with Bell, and Bell is so good with his feet. Maybe that turned in somewhat of a curse for them in that situation, because you're so used to how well he plays with his feet. He decided to play it back, but he wasn't quite ready for it. Fonseca.
Whew. Guys still going in hard for Louisville despite being a man down. You cannot miss with those tackles.
6.5 remain. 1-1.
Space here for Kojima.
Long ball to Oliver. Oliver looking to connect with Thomas. Fessler on the back of Sample.
Wonder what Ryan Fessler's thinking right now inside 10 minutes in another close game. He got a big equalizer last time.
Good step by Mpanza. Forbes to the left flank. Now the Deeks back to directing somewhat of another attack here. 5.5 to go. Fessler. Kajima. Tucking in. Thomas. Little 1-2. Thomas to Forbes. Forbes with a cross. Nobody at home.
That was dangerous too.
Deeks again will work it back from the back and then moving up front. Searching and hunting for the go-ahead goal. Escribano. Fessler. Couldn't meet that pass. And Louisville quickly clearing it. Hit the back of Fonseca.
This is dangerous for the Cardinals. Man down.
Fonseca goes down. The referee is not going to buy this one. They're Swallen now in the middle of the circle. And here come the Deacons once more in transition. Colin Thomas to the left. Puts one through. Late arriving Valtos was there though. But good clearance by that back line. Fastine was there with that last resort to clear it. It'll be another corner kick. But Thomas was in plenty of time and space to create something. He had Valtos making that run. It was the right ball to play. Okay, here's the ball. Here's the playback. My mistake. So it was a miscommunication as Bell kind of looked at. I'm over here. He was at the top of the box, and I guess Abdi Kadir thought he was farther back. But luckily, that post that yeah.
For Louisville. Nobody will remember it though, since it didn't go in the back of the net. Chance for Wake Forest here towards the end. Abdi Kadir clears that one off the line from almost zero to a decent hero there. His bell was nowhere near that. Excellent job by Abdi Kadir.
Forbes through. Back on the ball. And Hernandez also back in the middle. Oliver wants the through ball, won't get it. Scrivener now in with 3 minutes remaining.
How about Nico Benalcazar? Made a run earlier.
Time ticking down. 3 points sitting on the table for one of these teams. And Bobby Muse sitting at 99 wins as head coach of Wake Forest. Fessler and Abdi Kadir collide. Every free kick for Louisville.
There have been a number of tackles on both sides in this game where as soon as it happens, you kind of cringe and you're like, uh-oh, and then you see both guys get up and think, oh, whew, thank goodness everybody's okay. This has been a hard-fought game. You can see exactly what's on the line for both these teams. A draw does nobody any good. Both these teams want to win to keep pace with Clemson, or else the Tigers are all but secured to win the Atlantic. Oh,
Sears goes down. This will be a free kick. Abdi Kadir protesting it. Diaz tells him to back off a little bit. Under 2 minutes to go. And he probably has the right to be upset because he went down first. But good news for the Demon Deacons. Here's a free kick, and number 17 is behind it. Scribner, the shot. And another big save by Bell. Now, Scribner might play defense, but this kid has a shot. During training this week, his teammates are saying this kid can finish.
That's from a tight angle with the right. Just whips his body around. You see the hip control. Puts so much power on that because he gets his hips around. And how big as Dietrich Bell.
I tell you, that kid is unbelievable.
They may need him again here.
Oliver. Oh, he just wasted that, but had the right idea. I'm not sure if he was expecting someone to make a run. He was going to do a half volley, put it right back into the 6. But now under a minute, ticking down here in the second half. Bell may have very well secured this draw for Louisville for that last save. He has 7 on the night now. 30 seconds. Maybe one last time for an attack and an opportunity for Wake Forest. Long ball. Oliver chasing. Bell watched it all the way. And he has no urgency to let this ball go. So that will be the final in Winston-Salem. Another draw for the Demon Deacons. And we will have we'll have overtime. I'm kidding. I have to say a draw here so far. We will have overtime. So will we have more dramatics? We'll be back with more Extra Soccer coming up. We're back, and I'm glad you're back because, yes, we have Extra Soccer. Apparently, thought it was going to end in a draw, but it's not because we have overtime rules in the ACC. So free soccer, and here's the rules for the NCAA regular season. Kyle, take it away.
Yeah, so we've got 2 10-minute periods tie. Golden goal. Sudden death victory. If you score, you win. Still tied after the second overtime. That's it because we don't have to have a winner. It's not win or go home, or win or go home. It's not tournament style, just regular season. So we can have a draw. Points would be shared. And also a reminder, players substituted out in the first overtime can re-enter, but only in the second overtime. You cannot re-enter in the same overtime period.
So good news for Wake Forest. They will be facing a Louisville team with 10 players. Bad news is they're already thin, and we got to play more soccer. But here's how we got here, Kyle.
Yeah, so the first goal by Louisville early on, the press absolutely smothered Wake Forest, and they got a goal through their main target man, Abubakar Kamara, who was all alone right by the penalty spot. A breakdown for Wake Forest on a giveaway thanks to that pressure, and he got it from Amo, who was fantastic in the first half. Wake Forest got a goal, though, to level things up early in the second half. A beautiful free kick
watch this.
From Omar Hernandez. What a left foot he had. 1, 2 dummies, and then bang, top right corner with that left foot. That leveled things up. Wake Forest really struggled against Louisville, who was a man down in the final half hour. You wouldn't have known that Louisville was a man down had it not been for the graphic underneath the score bug the entire way through. But Louisville did lose William Portman to a straight red card in the second half for a bad tackle on Holland Rula, which has resulted in an injury to Rula. Hope he's all right. But that is why Louisville will play this overtime a man down.
Hey, check this out, Kyle. Now, we went into halftime with Louisville with 8 shots. Wake Forest was 7. In the second half, Wake Forest put up 9 shots total in the second half, and Louisville with only 1.
Yep, and that's the mark of being down a man, right? But aside from that 5 or 7 minute stretch where Louisville really parked the bus under some serious Wake Forest pressure, they weren't as bunkered as you might expect a team down a man to play the game. So credit Louisville, because while they turned the press off a little bit, they didn't completely take their foot off the gas.
Well, the foot is not off the gas yet here in Winston-Salem. We've got extra soccer overtime action. The Deeks drew with NC State the last time they were here at Winston-Salem at Spry Stadium. 2 overtime sessions, and it ended in a 0-0 final. That was not exactly what Coach Muse had in mind. They went to South Bend, took on Notre Dame, who had a lot of vets, came back from behind and won with about a minute left to go. Now they find themselves tied with Louisville 1-1. And a desperate need for 3 points to stay in the driver's seat to challenge Clemson. Ty Collins alongside Kyle Bong. Glad you could stick around for extra soccer. I thought this thing was over. Apparently I was wrong. But you know what? I'm half asleep, so that's good because it's been a long, long week.
Watching Louisville will wake you up.
Yep, yeah, definitely. And that thunderstorm this afternoon woke me up.
Woke my cat up.
Yeah.
Very suddenly. It's been a
foul.
physical game the whole way through. Obviously, we had that red card, but I mentioned earlier of Louisville's total fouls at one point, over half of them were card worthy. At the moment it stands, Louisville's got 4 cards, 3 yellows and a red out of 10 fouls.
Free kick for Louisville. Fonseca goes down again. Coach Muse giving his final instructions. Very animated on the sideline. Willing his team for the golden goal. 2 10-minute overtime periods. Here we are in the first session. Amo lost the handle on that one, goes out. Wake Forest on the ball is Benal Kassar in the middle. And the back line slowly creeping up to the midway line. Fessler in the middle. Swallen calling for it. There's 3 passes, 4 passes, all 4 freshmen. Sears is another freshman. And here's Benal Kassar.
Nice ball.
Escribano, the service ball. Hernandez looking for a brace. He goes down. Kyle, they point to the spot.
And a chance for Wake Forest to end it right here. What a ball through the lines. And then the little cutback. This was a beautiful delivery. Escribano right to Hernandez. A bit of a heavy touch for Hernandez. Yep, that's a penalty. I was questioning whether that was the right call at full speed. You see the step right there. He cut around the ankles of Hernandez. And that is the correct call by a refereeing crew that has done a great job all evening. Here's the chance. Hernandez, the man to potentially end it. We know how big Bell's been for Louisville.
Bell versus Hernandez. Hernandez makes it official. 2-1. Bobby Muse hits 100.
And of course, Ty, it comes in come-from-behind fashion. What way would Wake Forest want it other than that? They came from behind to beat BC, they came from behind to beat Notre Dame, and they come from behind to beat Louisville here. A valiant effort